only knew us before we were born. Even before the beginning of the earth, He know your name. Just like the word say, He has written our name in His palm of His hands. So no matter how much we are going through, no matter where you are, when you wake up in the morning, when you do whatever you're doing in your day activities, God knows each and everything that you're doing, and He has set angels to surround you, to cover you. Because sometimes we always think about big miracles happening in our lives. That's when God is with us. And just like in the Bible, what I say is, God, His voice, is always clear. Sometimes we can expect so much to be happening in our lives, but maybe that's not where God is. God has a purpose in our lives, and He always will be speaking into our lives. So I'm really delighted today, being in the church, having to listen the speaker who was speaking, and now, what I asked God, the song I used to sing when we used to come to the fellowship at night, which says, "Let God speak unto us," and when God speaking His message into us, then our inner ears, let we always be attentive to His voice. Bwana asifiwe. Because many things will be happening in our lives. Even now we have a lot of politics happening everywhere. But you know what? Who has our last word? Just God has our last word. Maybe we may be carried out by all these things happening into our lives, but even you being here, at this day, because as the Bible says, nobody comes into His tabernacle, for his own will. It's God who direct them to their step to here. Think of yourself, how many places you could have gone, even like that a day to day. Probably they would have called you to go work. But God direct you today to be here. So I feel God has a purpose in our lives. Even bringing us to this country. Well, there's so many things happening. We think of the immigration and stuff, but that's not what we need to think about. We need to focus our eyes onto our God, because He is the only one who has a message for us. He is the only one who has our last word. So I think I've already taken 10 minutes already. So yeah, let's go to the word. We're gonna read our word that is in John 1, I think verse 46, 45, somewhere there. It's a John 1. Yeah, I think we can start at maybe 45. John 1:45. 45? Yes. Are we all there? I'll read the right there. It says, Philip. Let me read to the common. I like the common one because sometimes I get the word better in myself when I read the common version. So it says, Philip was from Bethsaida, from the hometown of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said unto him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law of the prophets, Jesus, Joseph, from son of Nazareth." Nathanael responded, "Can anything from Nazareth be good?" And I think the other version says something else too, which says, let's see, King James. Yeah, can anything good? Can anything good come from Nazareth? Let me read it. Yeah. It says 46. Nathanael said unto him, "Can there anything good thing come out from Nazareth?" So my message today is it's about ourselves. You know, how we look ourselves in the mirror, and then we see our blemish. You know, we see ourselves. You know, maybe God should have created me with maybe longer hair. You know, maybe my legs should be like this. You know, and we despise ourselves and we look ourselves like we are not worthy. You know, just like Nathaniel ask whether there is anything good coming from Nazareth. Because, if you look at the life of Jesus, he grew up from his father Joseph. He was a carpenter. And they look on how much education he got and all what went around him, you know. Like we look upon to the big families where you see those people, you know, they are very rich, you know, they have so much wealth and everything. But into ourselves, I see him looking into this family like, you know, they have been carpenters, you know, probably that's the worst, they call it the dirty jobs here. You know, they see, you know, when it rains, they are always working outside. You know, when it's they are going to get the timber from the forest. You know, because Jesus was helping his dad. You know, so in my heart, I'm looking to him, and I compare those other people in my communities where the carpenter used to, you know. It takes me back, you know, like back in my primary school where we had this he was a little guy where he was making all the carpentry, and you know, we used to kind of like, you know, everybody was like, you know, that he's just a carpenter, you know, he's not worthy, you know. I don't see anything good coming from that family, you know. And just like the prophet says, you know, I don't think there's anything good coming from that area, you know, because Jesus, he's the one who will be performing the miracles, who will be performing great things, you know. And they're all despising because they say, yo, you know, there's nothing good coming from that kind of an area. And in ourselves, you know, we always look to ourselves, you know, maybe I'm not worth it, you know, I don't have that kind of education, I don't have this, you know. Into my mind, I think we need to re-evaluate ourselves, you know, and see how much God has done into our lives, you know, because we don't need to see that so many things that are happening other people for us to confirm that God is into our lives, you know, because the real thing that God has performed into you, you know, many people like myself, I haven't gone to the hospital for a long time. Even when I go to the hospital, I'm just freaking out because I don't know what's going to happen, because they might put me in the machine, and then I'll be like, oh man, I have all these diseases and all this kind of stuff, but I thank God, you know. This is a true confession. You know, I went to, it was on 15th of November, so probably last week. I went to, they do what they call the health assessment. So I booked it once, and then I said, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen, because if I take this health test, you know, because they might say in my cholesterol is so bad, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know. So I was just freaking to myself, and I told my wife, you know, I don't know when I'm gonna do this, you know. And I called them and said, you know, is this so beneficial, you know? And then, you know, I went to work, and I said, one of my friends told me, are you doing the health assessment? I told him, is it really like what it is, you know, what it is? I said, you know what, let's go and do it. So I sat there, I sat in the phone there, just like, okay. I went ahead and I did it. And one thing is, I didn't even do all the fasting, because you have to have done the fasting. So I had not done fasting. So the nurse take all he poked me and all that kind of stuff. And then he gave me all the results. And then he told me, you know what, this is so impressive that you're not even fasting. So if probably if I was fasting, they would be like, oh, I don't know, you know, you need to be a setting example to those people who are eating right. But you know, one of the things I told them, you know, we are coming from Africa, and we always feed on the right kind of stuff, which is you guys call organic, you know. So it's not about everything, and God is in us, you know. He's the one who set us different. You know, because we might look ourselves, we say, you know, I was really kind of like down and I'm feeling like, you know. So they told me that the cholesterol is good, everything good, but you need to check on your weight. So I said, oh yeah, that one I think I can, you know, I can start going to the gym, or probably I need to run more, you know, all those kind. So those are my goals I'm working on. What does he feel? So it's, to me, it's setting goals in life,
Yes.
and thanking God because He's the one who made my health full. What does he feel? So, you know, back into these scriptures where I say, what good can come from Nazareth?
Yeah.
You know, you look at yourself, you think you're not worthy. You know, even one of the music director back there, he's always talking about us to come and practice. And when we say we come to practice, you know, you feel like, oh yeah, maybe I'm not worthy to be in the music team, you know. And it's all about setting yourself goals, you know, telling God what you need.
Amen.
You know, if we despise ourselves and think that, you know, we are not worth, you know, we're not worth about doing you know, whatever is supposed to be done, but it's just taking that one step. You know, even as they say, Rome was not built in one day.
Yes.
You know, they started one step, you know. So the moment we make a step, and God will help us to take the other step.
Amen.
You know, because it's on ourselves. You know, when we think about it, about how God has continued to be with us. You know, in ministry, because you can do all the calculation and see how much, you know, maybe monthly you spend. You know, and you go to the Toro net, and then you go there, and then you check out the expenses. You look like, man, this is not even, you know, it's not balancing. You know how the equation we used to do the balance sheet. So like you try to look on the balance sheet and say, you know what, it's not even, because the expenses seems to be more than what you're earning. But you know what? It's God.
Amen.
You know, He's the one who is balancing all these equations. So we can always think ourselves, we think we are not worthy in Him.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, God has given us, you know, He say He's ready to hear us. You know, even when, you know, He say even when the sins are so much, He's gonna make us new. You know, it's my desire and my heart that God renew our strength. You know, that's why we need Jesus. You know,
Amen.
You know, like the song we used to say. It was in Kikuyu, like you renew my heart. You know, so I feel like we need to keep on telling God, renew my heart every single day, that I'll be righteous into you, and that will be acceptable to you. Because what God is looking to us is looking for righteousness, you know. And the righteousness that God is looking is us to ask Him on how to live. You know, if we continue reading His word and praying and fasting and asking for His help to get us to the next level, He's ready to listen unto us, because His grace is always there for us. So what I'm urging the church is, like, let's wait unto the Lord. There's something good coming from Nazareth. There's something good coming from Nazareth. You know, there's something good coming from you. You know, and this you should tell yourself, you know, I'm happy for Maureen because he's not only preaching to us, we need to preach it to ourselves. You know, Yeah? Because when you preach to yourself, you remind yourself there's something good coming from me and myself.